are you up to, Mayor Aaron?
Oh, hey, Co-Mayor Alexa. I was just reminiscing on all the AEW women's figures that I've reviewed here in LumberJillville. Did you know it has been 5 whole months since the last AEW women's figure was released so I could review it here in LumberJillville? To be honest with you, it's kind of got me bummed out.
Cheer up. We have came a long way in LumberJillville with or without an AEW figure to review. And whether you like it or not, I've been here the whole ride.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Co-Mayor Alexa. Thanks for being by my side this entire time. And even though you can be a turd to me a lot of times, I know that you care. Right? You care about me, I think.
Actually, that's why I came to talk to you. I know I've been less than pleasant to you over the years, but I'm changing. I actually came here with a present for you.
A present? A present? Really?
Yes, under the sheet I had something made for you. Something that will bond us as a team moving forward. A tag team.
Wow. Okay. So I'm just gonna hope that there's not a flaming bag of poop or an FTC figure underneath this sheet. I hope. Alright. I'm just gonna get to it. Is this what I think it is?
LumberJillville tag team titles. Yep, and me and you are the inaugural champions. You're my best friend, Mayor Aaron, and these will bring our bond closer.
Wow, I don't even know what to say right now. Oh, okay, 2 things I thought of saying right now. First thing, me and you need to have an awesome tag team name. And second thing, we need some matching gear.
Hold up. What's all this ruckus about LumberJillville tag team champs? Me and Dexy won't allow that to happen. In fact, we challenge you to win Money in the Bank tag team ladder match. First one to climb the ladder and get the titles wins them.
Oh please, like we are worried about Queen Dingleberry and Lurch over there.
Oh, hey, take it easy on Dexy. He's a little bit sensitive. But yeah, Queen Diva Marie, we accept your challenge. However, we need time to train, and we also need time, more importantly, to get gear made and also come up with a tag team name. But how about in a couple videos? What do you say?
Oh, it is on. ONN. The Royal Double Ds are going to win those titles and become the new LumberJillville tag team champions.
Whoa. Your tag team name is the Royal Double Ds?
Yes, the team of Diva and Dexy. See, both our names start with D's, I think. And Royal because, duh, I'm LJV royalty.
Yeah, rethink that. Anyways, I'm off to finally, once again, review some AEW women's figures. And I'll be honest with you, this 2-pack looks pretty awesome.
I do like that Jade is an LJV pink. But don't you think the championship belts included in this 2-pack are way too big?
I honestly don't see the big fuss over these titles. I don't think they're too big. Now I'm off to review this. Yeehaw! y'all, welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now before we get started, I just want to remind you to please hit subscribe to become an official resident of LJV and get a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, like today's very exciting AEW Amazon exclusive Champions 2-pack, Dr. Britt Baker DMD, and Jade Cargill. That's a mouthful. Now I am super excited to review this 2-pack, and the main reason being it has been 3 months, 3 whole months, since I've gotten to review a new AEW women's figure in LJV, and that was the Ringside Collectibles exclusive Blood and Guts Thunder Rosa, which was an excellent figure. Now, as far as mainline women's figures released, it's been 5 months since Unrivaled 11 Penelope Ford and Unmatched 5 Red Velvet, and it's a bit concerning. I've expressed my concerns on the channel before, and I know the company, they switched factories and all of that, but here's the deal. Even though I'm concerned, that doesn't change anything because I want the line to continue to succeed. I hope this year we get tons of figures because here's the deal. The AEW women's figures are freaking awesome. I adore them. I admire them. I even have the other half of my collection here. My collection room is dedicated to the AEW women's figures because I'm a huge fan. So I'm just so happy to have this 2-pack here, to have some new AEW women's figures to review, and hopefully we get more very soon here in LJV. Now that being said, let's take a closer look at this 2-pack. So let's start off with the packaging here and then unbox it because this packaging it's beautiful. Now these Amazon exclusive 2-packs are a way to get previously released figures repainted and out there, and I think it's cool. And this is the first time we've gotten 2 females in one of these 2-packs, and I'm really excited, especially for the Jade. But let's look at the packaging first. So we obviously have the AEW logo in the top left. We have the Champions pack in that gold there. We have the Unrivaled logo, Dr. Britt Baker DMD on the left, and Jade Cargill on the right. Now what's awesome is these pictures do match the attires that they are depicted in wearing. The side has the images of Jade and Dr. Britt, and the other side is the exact same thing. And then on the back, this is awesome, we have 2 really cool images. And oh boy, so on the back of the AEW women's figures, all figures, they have like a printed autograph. It's not really an autograph. It's like a screen printed one. You know what I'm trying to say here. And Dr. Britt's is nice. But Jade's looks the same as it did on her Unmatched, which was like atrocious. Like they chose the worst possible autograph to screen print. It looks like a dying paint pen there. So real interesting choice there, but not a big deal. But the back of this packaging is just real classy, real clean. It's really cool that we get these enlarged images of these amazing female superstars here. And okay, let's unbox it here because that's what I'm excited for. Now, not usually, but I don't always show the unboxing portion, but because this is kind of a different style packaging, I figured let's see how hard or easy it is to get these figures out. So I just cut one piece of tape at the top, and then that slides out. Okay, that's cool. We got a nice little kind of a backdrop you can keep if you want. I'll keep that for my daughter. She loves things like that. Let me toss it on the ground there, okay? Toss the box, and then we have the figures here. So they're all plasticed up and put in here nicely, so I am going to cut away, take my time getting them out, but let's take a closer look, and let's start off with that Jade Cargill. Amazon exclusive AEW Champions 2-pack Jade Cargill. This attire is from AEW Dynamite Quake at the Lake, which took place on August 10th, 2022. On this night, Jade would successfully defend her TBS championship by defeating Madison Rayne, bringing her record to 36-0. So my first impressions of this Jade, obviously the pink attire really stands out. Pink is one of the LJV colors, and to have Jade Cargill in such a contrasting different color than her previous Unmatched 4 release is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm really glad they went with this pink. However, I'm sure a lot of people noticed just from the images online, but in person, that TBS title is even bigger than it looks in the images. It's ridiculous. Now, it does look to be a retooled TNT title, but even the TNT title that's released with the men's figures, by the way, is way oversized. So this thing is double, if not triple, the size that it should be, and we'll take a closer look at it just in a moment. Now, the accessories that she comes with, other than that title, are a pair of fist hands, so it's just like her Unmatched release there. Now let's take this title off and take a closer look. So as you can see, she comes packaged with it around her waist. Now this is the tightest that it gets here. I guess you could make it a little bit tighter, but it'd be kind of wonky there. And look how big it is. You can almost fit 2 Jades in there, and that's on its tightest setting. So, yeah, but let's take actually... So you could kind of do that if you cut these last 2 off. You could do that, but that doesn't help. It's still way too big, so yikes. I mean, this is the first time we've ever gotten the TBS title, so I'm pretty excited for it, but let's see if it lives up to the hype that we all had. So the title itself is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I really like not only that TBS logo, but how the champion banner is in like a tealish blue color. And there's also some pretty good detail on the side plates that look really cool. So the title itself is beautiful, but they need to shrink it down like half the size of this. Because yeah, as it stands right now, it is way too big. It actually looks better over her shoulder than it does around her waist. In which, like I said, on the tightest setting, it is way too big. So I don't know what they were thinking when they released this, considering it's the first time we've gotten the TBS title. So wouldn't that be nice if they knocked it out of the park with the first try? But they really didn't, in my opinion. It's a beautiful title, definitely cool to add to your collection, but it is way out of scale with the Jade. Now, with that being said, let's take a closer look at the Jade figure itself. So moving on to the face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt. Once again, it is the exact same face sculpt and hair sculpt as before, but there are some minor differences in the paint that I actually think improve that face. The first difference between this and her Unmatched 4 release is the teeth are a lot more prominent. So you can really notice her teeth in between her lips a lot better. I'll show you side by side in a second here and show you what I mean. And also, the detail in her eyeshadow is like a purplish color that wasn't there on the Unmatched one. So this sculpt and scan I ranted and raved about in the Unmatched 4 release. I thought it was amazing. I thought the hair sculpt worked good. I like that white color. But this one's actually an improvement. Now let me get the Unmatched 4 so you can kind of see side by side what I'm talking about. So it is the same sculpt. It might look a little different, but it is the exact same sculpt. The major differences, like I said, the teeth are more pronounced on this 2-pack on the left here. And I think that really adds to it. And also the eyeshadow is different. So yeah, they took an amazing, excellent sculpt and made it even better just by adding little paint details that I think really took this an extra mile here. Now moving on to her body sculpt and attire. Now there's a reason why the Unmatched Series 4 won the Jilly Award for the best body sculpt of the year, because they did a fantastic job giving Jade a proper, unique body sculpt that really shows her physique. And that's something that Bianca Belair has deserved for years in the Elite line, and where they swing and miss every time they release an Elite Bianca. And I didn't really realize that until I got this Jade, and I'm like, this is a strong woman. This is an absolute physique specimen of a woman here, and that's how she is in real life. She's amazing. And to have that portrayed so perfectly in figure form, I can't say enough good about this body sculpt itself. I think it is tremendous. I could go on all day about it. But let's take a look at the attire, because that's the main difference. So like I said, the sculpting's the same even in the attire pieces here. You know, that top is a sculpted attire top there. Now the biggest detail difference, and I will do a side-by-side with her 2 figures next, but we have pink paint application. But not just that. If you look close at that pink paint application that replaces kind of the dull gold color in the Unmatched 4, it does have a metallic type shine. Now it's not too prevalent, and you kind of have to look at it for a while, but it does have a bit of a metallic gloss, and that's how it should be. If you look at the front of the package, it kind of shows you how it is like a metallic type finish. So I think they really did a good job on the paint choice here with the pink. I think it pops. The knee pads look great with that pink Jade logo, pink accents on a black background knee pad. And then the boots. So that was my big complaint with the Unmatched 4, is the boots were like a dull tan color and should have been a sparkly gold. And this is a pretty metallic pink here. It's not really sparkly, but it is a metallic pink, and I think it works great. It really looks good here. So not just the pink was a good option or a good choice, but to make it a metallic type shine is beautiful. I mean, in my opinion, this might be the front runner for Figure of the Year for 2023, and we just started the year. So yeah, I can't say enough good about the improvements they've made to this over her Unmatched 4 figure. Now that being said, let's do a little side by side and I can show you. So this Unmatched Series 4 Jade Cargill on the left here was in the top 5 most voted figures for the LumberJillville Jilly Award for Figure of the Year, and it truly deserves that. because it is a fantastic figure. I can't say enough good about this thing. However, I think with this 2-pack release, it's actually an upgraded Jade. I think they're both beautiful figures, do an excellent job of portraying Jade's beauty, her strength, her physique, everything about Jade Cargill. You get that from these figures. However, I think the metallic paint finish of that pink is more eye-catching and popping and really looks good. And that was my one complaint about this figure, is they used like a bland, kind of a matte gold, I guess you could say, a matte finish gold on the top, and then even the boots, and that should be sparkly. That should be metallic gold, and in her attire it should be metallic gold. And that was the only thing that bothered me about this figure, that they could have made it even better by doing that. Now, with that being said, it's still an amazing figure. But looking here at this 2-pack, like I said, the pink does have a metallic type appearance. It's hard to tell unless you have it under all these 3 studio lights I do, but it does have a little metallic type finish. And yeah, I think this Jade is fantastic. And on top of that, the fact that we get the first TBS title as big as it is, I mean, this is a must to have. So if you had to choose a Jade Cargill to add to your collection, I would actually spend the money, get the 2-pack, and get this Jade because it is fantastic. Amazon exclusive AEW Champions 2-pack, Dr. Britt Baker DMD. This attire is from Double or Nothing 2021, which took place on May 30th in Jacksonville, Florida. On this night, Britt Baker would defeat Hikaru Shida to become the new AEW World Women's Champion. So my first impressions of this 2-pack Britt Baker figure, it does appear to be an exact re-release of the Unrivaled 10 Britt. Now I have this new figure in front of me and the Unrivaled 10 one to the right of me, and yes, they look identical. We will do a side-by-side comparison here in a couple segments so you can see if there's any differences, but just from the naked eye looking at these two, they look the exact same, which I think is a huge missed opportunity. This would be a perfect time to give her a repainted attire. I mean, I think the sculpt here is amazing, and truthfully, I think that Unrivaled Series 10 Britt Baker is an amazing figure. I don't think it gets talked about enough. I think it's Britt's best figure, actually, even better than the Supreme. So I am glad we're getting that same sculpt. However, it's unfortunate that we're getting that same exact attire. You know, that's kind of a letdown there. But it is cool attire. You know, if you don't have that Unrivaled 10, if you missed out on it for some reason, you know, definitely get this. But the title here is huge. Just like Jade's TBS Championship, this title is ginormous. It's the biggest World Women's Championship title that they've released. And this is on its tightest setting, and it could fit like 2 Brits in there. And the funny thing is, I had to redo this segment because my cat was meowing in the background, and I could not get this title on because getting these pegs in the holes is a nightmare, to be honest. So I took the belt off, and I put the pegs in, and then this belt is so huge, it can just slide down like that. I mean, that's how big it is. So it's absurdly too large. It looks goofy, just like that TBS title. Now, if we're going at the history of the AEW Women's Championships released, here's the first one that was released, and this came with Riho and also Hikaru Shida. I think Nyla Rose came with it as well, and it's really small, but it was very similar to that first one. And then the Supreme version is the best AEW World's Women's Championship. I mean, look at the detail there. It's much cleaner in appearance. It's beautiful. And then we have this beast. We have this, the Duke. Okay, we have this one that came with the Unrivaled 10 Britt and came with this 2-pack Britt. And yeah, looking at these three, I mean, it's no comparison. The one in the middle is by far the best. So the belt, the title belt that comes with the Supreme Britt is fantastic. This one that comes with this 2-pack is ginormous. Now, it is important to note that Britt does come with her pointing hands, but she also comes packaged with these flat hands here with painted nails. So with that being said, let's move on and take a closer look at the figure. Now, as far as her face sculpt, face scan, and hair sculpt goes, it is identical to Unrivaled 10, but I think it does a tremendous job of capturing Britt's facial features and also her unique hairstyle. And I think they do an excellent job here with the hair sculpt. It's even got some braids at the top there that goes into that high ponytail. And then the face sculpt itself is excellent, but what sets this figure apart from a lot of the other Britt figures is the application of the dark eyeshadow and even the lipstick. They do such a fantastic job here. It's one of the best face scan and sculpts and paint application of the facial features that I've seen, that I have in my collection. I can't say enough good about it. I think it's the best Britt. So even though it is the exact same and a complete re-release, at least they chose the best one in my opinion. Now let's move on to the body sculpt and the attire. So as far as Britt's body sculpt and attire goes, now, like I mentioned, this is the same figure as Unrivaled 10, and we will do a side-by-side, but the one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned in that Unrivaled 10 Britt review is that the skin tone is way, way, way too pale. That's the only thing about this figure that really is off, is the skin tone. It's way too pale. She always has a real good tan going on, so I wish that, you know, they took this opportunity of re-releasing that Unrivaled 10, and even if they give us the same attire, which I'm not too happy about, at least give her an updated skin tone and make her more tan. That's the one thing I am going to say. But other than that, the body sculpt works good. The legs are a little bit too skinny, I'd say, and she kind of has these platform boots that make her a little bit hard to stand, to be honest. But overall, I think it's a pretty good sculpt. Now, as far as the attire goes, to be honest, the red that they use in this attire looks a little brighter. We'll find out next when we do a side-by-side here. But the sculpting work is definitely nice in this attire. We have a lot of little sculpted straps in the top, sculpted choker around her neck. And the paint detail is also beautiful here. We have a lot of red with a black base, obviously. Little blood drops on the top. And then we have little silver studs painted on throughout very neatly. In the bottoms, this is a Scott Hall inspired gear, I should say that. So that's pretty cool. Now moving on down to the bottoms here. They have a black base color, a lot of red detailing there. Even on the borders, just like the Unrivaled 10, it has like a snake skin type pattern. We also see that on the border of the top, so that's really cool. Great paint detail there. Yeah, they gave her the backside sculpt that they've been using a lot, so that's fine. It works for Britt. But yeah, so it's the same. And moving on down here, we have these leg sleeves painted on here, and once again with that red, and then we have these boots that are sculpted nicely. So I definitely do an in-depth review of this figure, and I did it months and months ago when it first came out. So go check that out if you want like a really up-close look, but I just wanted to show you the detailing here. Now let's do a side-by-side comparison with Unrivaled Series 10, because this red actually looks a little brighter to me, but I am colorblind, so let's find out. So now let's do a little side-by-side comparison. On the left, we have Unrivaled Series 10, which it's important to note came with the title, that big title, and also came with this cool entrance jacket. And on the right, we have that 2-pack Britt that we're looking at today. And yes, they look identical. Now, truth being told, I am colorblind. A lot of people know that watch this channel. And I spent about 10 minutes staring at these two figures, trying to find the differences, and I think I found the only minor difference. Now, at first, I couldn't tell if the skin tones were a little different, if the hair was a little different, but I think the hair and the skin tone is the exact same. I think the biggest difference here, at least in these two, is the color red. So I don't know how well it's turning up, but this 2-pack red seems to be a little bit more bright than the red that's used in the Unrivaled 10. Let me turn the brightness up and see if we can tell a difference. I mean, that's probably the best shot I'm going to get. I don't know if y'all can really see that. It might just be the factory product. You know, it might be a little bit different, but it's a minor different shade of red if it is. So it's been driving me nuts, especially being colorblind. I've been staring at these two. I was like, okay, it looks like a darker red on the Unrivaled 10 and a brighter red on this 2-pack, but I just have no idea, honestly. So you have to let me know in the comments if you can tell if there's a difference between the red here. And now it's time for me to give these figure scores. Now I am going to score each figure individually and then give an overall score for the 2-pack itself and let y'all know, kind of discuss whether I think it's worth the price or not, whether it's worth ordering. Now that being said, I give the Amazon exclusive AEW Champions 2-pack Dr. Britt Baker DMD an overall score of a 9.5 out of 10. That's the exact score that I gave this figure when it was released in Unrivaled Series 10, and it's the same figure, which is Britt's best figure. It's fantastic. I think it's by far her best figure. And if you missed out on Unrivaled 10, this is a great way to get it. And yeah, I can't say enough good about it. I just think that the skin tone should be a little more tan, and that would have made this a perfect figure. Now, I know Unrivaled 10, we do get that entrance jacket, but that really doesn't factor into the score, in my opinion, because that entrance jacket looks cool, but it does keep the arms at a really awkward angle, so it's not a must-have in my opinion. So if you missed out on the Unrivaled 10 Britt, this is a great way to get the best Britt Baker figure out there. Now, as far as the Jade Cargill, I give Jade Cargill a score of a perfect 10. A perfect 10. I gave the Unmatched 4 Jade Cargill a 9.5 score when I reviewed it. And this one is even better. The only reason that one was a 9.5 is the color finish on the attire and the boots was a matte finish, like gold tan color, when it should have been a metallic shiny gold. Here we have that metallic-esque type finish with that bright pink in the boots and the attire, and it really makes the figure pop. And on top of that, the little paint intricate details that they added to this face compared to the Unmatched 5 actually improved an already perfect sculpt and scan in my opinion. The teeth are a lot more prominent in this one compared to Unmatched 5, and the purplish pink eyeshadow looks amazing. So this figure, I really do think it's a contender for Figure of the Year in LJV for 2023, and I'm worried it's going to get overlooked because it's included in a 2-pack, but it's amazing. Now that being said, I give the 2-pack as a whole an overall score of an 8 out of 10. Now there are 3 main factors that are pretty big factors in my opinion that if they were fixed, if they were corrected, this would have been a 10 out of 10 must buy. You need this, right? And I still think you do, but hear me out. Those 3 factors: the size of the TBS title is way too big. Way too big. Obviously, it's a retooled TNT title, but it's really disappointing that the first TBS title that we got is double the size of what it should be, right? That's kind of a head scratcher. The second thing is Dr. Britt Baker's title is also way too big. Now, it's the same title that came with the Unrivaled 10, but why couldn't they include the title that's the proper size that came with the Supreme? I really wish would have done that, so that's the second. Now, the third issue that I have is Britt Baker being in the exact same attire. I get reusing the same sculpt and face and all that because they did a great job. It's the best Britt. But why not give us a different attire, a different paint application on the attire? It's a cool attire, don't get me wrong, but she's had so many attires, and this is an opportunity to give us, the collectors, a new-looking Britt, in a fantastic new attire. We didn't get that. So those 3 things is what brought it down to an 8. But overall, do I think it's worth buying? Absolutely. The price on Amazon is $44 and I think 99 cents, so we'll say $45. For $45, you get 2 fantastic figures. Honestly, I think that money is worth it just for the Jade and the TBS title. Even though it's oversized, it is awesome to have the first. So, yeah, I absolutely think it's worth the asking price. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident today. Now, Women's History Month is upon us in 2023, and I have some really special videos planned. The next video that I'll be putting out is the figure history of Kelly Kelly figures. We're covering her Jax figures and her Mattel figures because it's pretty fantastic to see how far the figures have came, but just how far her career has come, and I'm real excited to share that with y'all, so stay tuned. Sometime this weekend I'll definitely be releasing that, and I'm real excited to show it to y'all. Now, with that being said, thanks for watching. Have a great night, y'all.